What's up guys? New day, new video. I'm wearing the same shirt as last video. It's just because I filmed that outro 5 seconds ago. Anyways, we're back. It's a new day. We're gonna work on the Z some. Moped content's probably gonna stop for a while. It's at my friend Hunter's house, who you've seen plenty of times now, but he had to go back to college, and with me getting food poisoning, whatever, I didn't get to go out there until Sunday to finish up. So I'll have to wait for him to come back to go to his parents' house so we can actually work on it. But for now, I have a huge surprise for the Z. You know, we got plenty of sanding content to do, but something cool came in yesterday that I didn't get to do because I was sick. We're gonna get to do it today. So I'm gonna freaking rush mass out to Roberts. We're gonna start that whole process, and then we'll probably get some like boring sanding time lapses too. But all right, we'll see you there. Well, for you, it's like right now. Alright guys, so I'm hoping the sound quality is a little bit better now. So I put my actual mic on, hopefully that helps some, cuts down on the wind noise too. Like I said, we got something in for the Z, super excited about it. This is the first thing that I've actually bought for the car, like other than the random miscellaneous paint and sanding equipment and BS. So these just came in yesterday. I have looked at them, I've opened the box and everything. This is the first time you're seeing it, or really anyone else is seeing it. We got crappy plastic flares for the Z. Now, this is definitely not the route I wanted to go, and I'm probably going to be massively disappointed when we mount them. But these quarters, if I can get the words out, these quarters are cut really high, and the way it like looks on the car as if they were cut and then riveted for IMSA flares, which if you don't know what IMSA flares is, I'll like link some stuff to them in the description. But they're basically like, it's a racing series, and you had very specific like tire sizes and everything. So for Z's, they had really wide flares that they made for them, and I mean they're like 150, like plus 150 millimeters, like they're huge. And I was really worried that I was either gonna have to cut these quarters off and replace them, or find some IMSA flares, which are just, you're only really gonna get replicas unless you buy from someone that's had them since like the 80s. And the replicas you get are good quality, like they're not like your average idea of a rep kit, but they're just so expensive. I mean like $700–800 for just rear quarters, and then you get into like, well then, you know, the rear is crazy wide, you have to make the front match, and then like the front bumper and front like hood and everything that matches up with those quarters or those fenders, it just gets stupid expensive. So I went ahead, bit the bullet. I'm not a fan of these flares whatsoever, but I figured they're 40 bucks shipped, we'll give them a shot. So we actually beat Robert here. I'm gonna try to get these taped up and mocked into place before he gets here. So yeah, let's start the time lapse right now and get into it. Okay, so apparently I didn't tape the back good enough, because right as I started filming it fell off. So retape that side and then I'll be right back. God. Alright, so like I was saying, I'm not gonna like lie and act like I'm in love with this, like it's the best look ever, because it really isn't. Like, they're cheap flares, you can't expect much, but they look so much better than the car did before. Like leaps and bounds better. I'm gonna show it really fast because it's super hot out here and the tape is not vibing with it. So let's just take a little gander real quick. Like obviously it's not fantastic, and it probably looks worse because of the tape, but I mean, you all saw the car before. You all saw it. You all saw how hideous the rear end looked with it cut. Like, let's just cut around to the other side, see what it looks like, just chopped into pieces. Like, all that gap. I mean, granted, it's not lowered at all, like, it's still on completely stock suspension, but all that gap versus this. Now, I probably need to bring the flare a little bit forward. Obviously, like I said, these arches are cut insanely wide, or like, just giant amounts cut out. So we probably want to bring the flare a little bit forward in the rear, and then we'll probably have to graft some metal in the back here to make up for what's cut out. which is still not as bad as we expected. These came out way better than I thought. And I think I'm gonna hold off. I'm not gonna do anything right now. I'm gonna wait until Robert gets here. I might do a little piddly things on the interior, maybe film it, who knows. And we'll see Robert's reaction to it. Alright guys, so we didn't get to surprise Robert. The tape failed me again and fell off, like literally right as he was pulling into the driveway. But he brought up a really good point while we were looking at it. This crease right here that has been an eyesore for a while, which now that it's primered, it's kind of hard to see on the camera. Let me try to focus it so you can see it. Yeah, I mean, you're right here, you can see how dented in this section is. So, because of this, it's really hard to line up down here with how good it's going to actually fit once it's there. So what I'm going to try to do is kind of hammer this out, try to get this back to the original body line. It's not going to be perfect right now, since when metal like this creases, it actually stretches the metal. So we can hammer it back out, but that's just going to stretch it more the opposite way. So what we'll have to do after that, later on, not right today, is hit it with the shrinker wheel. It's kind of like what we did in the last video with the hood, not the hood, the roof. And we'll try to pull this thing all the way out. And as we stretch the metal, it'll also kind of like pull all of this together. So it'll, any like weird body lines that are here that aren't supposed to be here, will kind of suction up together like it's supposed to be. So for today's portion, we're just gonna use these little guys, a couple hammers, a couple little back tools. So basically we'll just find the one that fits the body line. This is obviously not even close to right. I think we already have the stuff out in here. Yeah, there we go. So we'll kind of use this, guide it along the edge as we're hammering. That way we're not just hammering it straight out and it doesn't just create an outwards dent later on. And then we'll take this little guy and just gentle light tap to the flat side. This little side's more for like little dings and stuff. We'll just tap, 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 tap all the way through for probably hours. So I'm not going to make y'all suffer through all that because it's going to be miserable and time consuming. I will just set up a nice little time lapse because that's what we do around here. We just throw on time lapse anytime we don't feel like actually filming and let you see it in like 45 seconds. Alright guys, I'm trying to get where the sun's actually on me. Oh, that's so bright. So, we got a lot done. Like, I mean, not a lot, but a lot for body work because it's so fucking slow and tedious. Let me see if you can actually see this. So we've been working in this corner right here, which was definitely the worst spot on the whole car. This was all caved in. And then you can see this little pinch right here. But if I can focus, maybe. You can see this body line right here starting to work its way back out. Slowly but slowly, still got a long way to go. I decided not to time lapse this because it's just such a slow process. Like it's gonna be hours for like little to no actual visual payoff. So I guess I can explain real quick. The reason we started with this corner, it is the worst and you have to get metal out so that it has somewhere to go. You're not gonna just pull metal out of thin air. So working on this crease that I was talking about earlier, we noticed that it was kind of just like making that section worse. So we want to pull that section out so that this crease has extra metal to pull from. And then Robert, well, I've been doing this, well, I'm not even gonna lie, he's been like taking the lead on this. So he knows what he's doing, I'm just half-assing it. He's been working up on the roof, trying to get smoothed out a little bit. You can see like where he's been hammering and whatnot. Yeah, it's like, I know it doesn't look like much on camera, and it really doesn't look that much in person either, but it's moving along so well, like way better than I expected to get done today. I really thought like I was gonna mount the flares, not mount, but just like tape them up, look at them, and maybe get a little bit done on the roof. But we're like flying through this. It's going way better than I ever could have hoped for. Like I said, I'm not gonna worry about time lapses right now because it's kind of tedious work that's super slow. So you're gonna end up with like a 45-second time lapse and no like, oh, look at all this cool shit I got done, because it's not that kind of process. I'll just kind of check in with y'all every once in a while. I might film a little bit of me doing this real quick just to have like some concept footage of what's going on, because it is kind of weird. Like it's not, I expected it to be like, you know, you take your hammer, you take your other end, and you just kind of like tap it out, just work it slowly. But you have to like MacGyver this shit. It's not, well, it's like we got this pry bar stuck through this hole. Then you take another pry bar and you're like prying against it back here, and just lots of slow, meticulous, random movements to try to get little bits of metal out in random little spots. I'm probably filming all over the place. I'm using my tripod to hold the camera instead of holding it regularly, so probably just like, oh, I'm holding it like this now, you know. Alright, yeah, we'll get back to this, and I'll give you something soon, hopefully. Sick. Alright, I'm gonna film the last little progress shot, because we're closing up for the day. So we got like immense amounts done on this quarter. Like, it doesn't look like a ton on camera, I'm sure, but holy shit, like this is, no words. But I'm just gonna show you this side. So this quarter is actually super solid body-wise. It's just the rest that's garbage. So you can see where these body lines are and like how they're supposed to look a lot better over here. Look at it. You come over here, compared to what it was before, I mean, this was literally just a crease all the way down. There was no shape here whatsoever. Like, even this like body line right here is starting to come back out now. Try to focus on that. And we still got a couple little creases here and there. And then, of course, hammering at metal, you're just going to stretch it and cause little like micro dimples. That'll all get worked out like once you start shrinking all the metal back down. Just, I can't get over how good this quarter looks now. I mean, like, this was just mangled and creased in. It's still got a little bit of a dent right there, but not nearly what it was. Like, it's getting to the point that you can kind of just pull it out almost. So we still have this big dent down the center in this crease, which is the main thing I wanted to start on. So like I said in the last update little clip, this was so bad that messing with this just made this worse. So that's what you gotta think about. With metal, everything's gotta come from somewhere and has to go somewhere. So you're beating on this, it's either pulling or pushing metal over here. So as we're beating this out, it's shifting the metal over and causing this crease to get worse. So we need to really tighten this up and get it good before we can get good work right here. And we'll come back and tighten this up and start moving our way forward. Let's get some of these angles. I think it almost looks like a car again. Yeah, I think this angle is the one that does it for me. It's like the best you can see of how much changed. Alright guys, Jasper and I are here to film a quick little outro. So, I am beyond ecstatic with how much we got done today. I was not expecting to get that much done. I'm genuinely surprised. Jasper, you want to be in the outro? Come on, dude. Let's get this done. Alright, so first of all, flares came in. We got them test fitted. That is like a huge bonus. I know I didn't sound super happy with them because, like, in the back of my mind, it's not what I wanted for this car originally. But looking back through the video, looking through some pictures and stuff, I am pretty excited about them. Like, seeing that gap gone is like a weight lifted almost. Like, it's so nice and so relieving to like know that that step is done. Now, didn't really have much planned more than that today, like other than maybe work on the roof a little bit more, which I wasn't gonna film because it's kind of just like tedious sanding that's super boring to just watch me like go back and forth for 3 hours and not really see any changes because they're all so minimal. But luckily we decided to move on to the quarter panel. Robert worked on the roof a little bit while I was knocking the quarter panel out. He came down to help me with the quarter panel a little bit. We got that crease. I'm hoping like when I go back to the videos I'll be able to see like good spots in the video where you can see how bad that like section was cringed in by the taillight. But the fact that there's any body line there at all, let alone to like actually have the shape of the car back, is mind-boggling to me. Like, I literally went in a day and know nothing about removing dents. So to get to that point from where I went in is just amazing. I'm so happy with the progress. The car is coming along so much better than I could have ever wanted. I can't thank Robert Hunter enough for that. They're literally like the two people that are pushing me so hard with this car. I think that's it. Oh, you know what? Actually, real quick, just because she's in the room, I'm going to thank my wife for letting me go spend hours every day working on a car instead of here hanging out with her playing Minecraft. Because it's very generous of her to give up her husband to do other things like that. Is that a good thank you?
Very good, thank you.
You're welcome. Anyways, guys, I'm just rambling at this point. This is the bad side to vlogs, so I don't have a script or anything to go off of. I'm just talking into the camera and hoping y'all are listening. So, thank you all so much from the bottom of my heart for watching this far. It means a lot that anyone, like, at least half-ass cares about what I'm doing. So to have the, like, 100 of you, basically, that are genuinely watching and, like, leaving comments and, like, DMing me that you're, like, happy with the progress, it means so much. So, don't forget to like the video, comment, because I know you're gonna like want to say something about the lack of time lapses. I swear I filmed 2, but I didn't know they weren't in time lapse mode. There's no time lapses for this video. Kind of disappointing. Anyways, yeah, comment, like, subscribe, push the notification bell to more content, whatever. Good night.